Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into something that hits literally right at home for so many of us. We are taking a hard look at the legal boundaries of your backyard. It's a space we all think we understand implicitly, but as we're going to see, the law views your property through a very specific lens. So picture this. It's the end of a long day. You're relaxing in the backyard. Maybe the grill is sizzling, the dog is zooming around. It feels like your own personal fortress, right? But here is the million-dollar question. Is your backyard completely private? Can police just legally walk right into it? Well, today we are going to challenge some of those deep-rooted assumptions you might have about your yard being an impenetrable sanctuary. In this explainer, we've got a clear roadmap. We'll hit the backyard privacy myth, fences and privacy expectations, warrants and visible evidence, handling encounters calmly, and finally, the mistakes you must avoid. All right, let's jump straight into part one, the backyard privacy myth, expectation versus reality. There is a massive gap between what we feel and what the law actually says. Most of us just naturally assume our backyard is 100% private. And honestly, it makes total sense why we feel that way. Backyards are used for deeply personal things. It's where family activities happen, where we decompress, play games, and even store our stuff. We treat it exactly like an outdoor living room. So of course, these common daily uses naturally create a very strong emotional expectation that the yard is entirely protected from outside eyes. Think about how we mentally map out our neighborhoods. We've got public zones, streets, sidewalks, open paths, and we know those are free-flowing. But for our private zones, our inner yard, it's like we mentally plant a giant stop sign right at the grass line. We just assume that stop sign applies universally to everyone, including law enforcement. But reality check? The legal strength of that stop sign depends entirely on how you physically set up your property. Which brings us to part two, fences and privacy expectations. Let's look at the physical variables. See, the law doesn't really care about our feelings. It cares about physical reality. Your fence height and material, they literally change the game. Imagine a little 3-foot chain link fence. The visibility is super high, right? Anyone walking their dog can see right through it. Because of that, your legal privacy expectation drops way down. Now flip that. Imagine an 8-foot solid wood fence. Visibility is extremely low. You've actively built a physical barrier to the outside world. And by doing that, you actually raise your legal privacy protections. So your physical barriers absolutely dictate your legal expectations. Moving into part three, warrants and visible evidence, the legal exceptions. Even with a great fence, there are exceptions. Let's play out a scenario here. Say a police officer is just standing on the public sidewalk or the street, a place they are entirely legally allowed to be. Now, if they just look directly over a low fence into your yard, say over that 3-foot chain link we just talked about, whatever they see is considered to be in plain view. It's absolutely crucial for any homeowner to understand how simple public visibility can totally bypass those boundaries we thought we had. This is what the law calls visible evidence. It's a legal principle that basically says if items or activities can be clearly seen from a legal, public vantage point, law enforcement can use that information. It completely bypasses your privacy expectations. So if an officer can easily see into your yard without ever stepping foot on your property, that emotional stop sign we talked about earlier, yeah, legally, it just doesn't apply to what they're seeing. Okay, but what if you have that massive 8-foot solid wood fence and they can't see a thing? Well, that's where a search warrant comes into play. It's a legal document from a judge authorizing a search of a specific location. But here's a good way to look at it. Don't think of a warrant as some VIP all-access pass to your entire life. Think of it more like a highly specific access key. It only unlocks certain doors. If the key specifically says backyard, it means the backyard. It is a formal legal override to your property line. Now, warrants and visibility aren't the whole story. The rules can shift based on a few other things too. Take emergency situations, for example. If someone is in immediate, obvious danger, the rules change fast. Or think about specific access permissions, like if a roommate or a family member just opens the gate and lets someone in. Things like emergencies or varying legal standards can legally change whether your yard gets entered in a literal split second. All right, part four, handling encounters calmly, your practical toolkit. So, we've talked theory. What do you actually do if an officer walks up and asks to look around your property without a warrant? First off, always remain perfectly respectful. But remember this exact empowering phrase, I do not consent to a search. That's it. It's a polite, crystal clear, and legally binding way to decline the request. You don't owe anyone the long-winded explanation. Just saying, I do not consent to a search clearly establishes your boundary without creating any unnecessary friction. Finally, part 5. Mistakes you must avoid to keep the situation grounded. We really need to talk about the behavioral pitfalls you absolutely must avoid. Encounters like this are stressful, for sure, but the biggest mistake any homeowner can make is escalating things. Never panic. Don't start arguing aggressively, try not to react emotionally, and never, ever physically resist an officer. Even if you are 100% convinced your rights are being violated, right then and there, your backyard is not the courtroom. The time and place to fight that battle is later, with a lawyer. Escalating in the moment, it will literally only work against you. Just stay calm. Bringing this all together, the absolute most crucial takeaway here is that your privacy expectations always depend on specific local legal situations and circumstances. The rules about visibility and warrants we just covered are foundational across the country, but your actual day-to-day property rights, they depend so much on your local city ordinances and the unique context of what's happening in that exact moment. Which leaves us with this final thought. We've busted the myths, talked about fences, the legal access keys, and exactly how to calmly assert your rights. So how will you use this simple legal knowledge to stay informed and protect your own personal space? I highly encourage you to take this baseline, do a little digging, and learn the specific property ordinances in your own town. Thanks for hanging out for this explainer. Stay curious, stay informed, and we'll catch you next time.